And top story at WION, Siren sounded in northern Israel as Hezbollah rockets hit Haifa, which is Israel's third largest city. The Iran-backed militant group said it targeted an Israeli military base south of Haifa with a salvo of Fadi 1 missiles. Israel's military said at least 5 projectiles were identified coming from Lebanon and fallen projectiles were found in the area. According to Israeli media, at least 10 people were injured in the attack. On the other hand, Israel continued its bombardment of Lebanon. Explosions were heard in South Beirut shortly after the Israeli army called on residents to evacuate the Hezbollah stronghold. According to Lebanese media, Israeli warplanes launched 2 strikes on the southern suburbs. The first targeted the St. Teresa area and the second targeted the Burj al-Barajne area. This as Hashem Safieddin, slain Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah's likely successor, continues to be unreachable. One of the group's officials claimed Israel is obstructing search and rescue efforts in the area where Safieddin is thought to have been bombed. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met the army's Northern Command chiefs on Sunday to discuss its operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant is in the United States and has already met Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. They discussed Iran's destabilizing actions. West Asia has been on edge since Hamas's October 7 attack on Israel. Exactly a year after the Palestinian group said the attack shattered the illusions that Israel had created for itself. Qatar-based Hamas member Khalil al-Haya in a video said, all of Palestine, particularly Gaza and our Palestinian people, are writing a new history with their resistance, blood and steadfastness. Meanwhile, Israelis gathered near Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence early on Monday to mark a year since the October 7 attack. The protesters in Jerusalem held banners and pictures of hostages. A similar gathering was witnessed in Tel Aviv. Protesters demanded the release of remaining hostages held in Gaza. This comes as an Israeli campaign group announced the death of another hostage, Idan Shtivi. With this, the toll has reached 32. A recent Israel Democracy Institute poll revealed that the majority of Israelis think that it is time to end the Israel-Hamas war. We are being joined by our correspondent, Khadi Francis. She's joining us live on phone line from Beirut. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the latest you can bring in? So IDF has said that they have now started the operation in southern Lebanon and they have released videos of their operation as well. What is the latest that you can bring in?
Hello from Beirut. Well, these videos and this announcement is a deja vu. This is probably the 4th time that we see such an announcement with similar videos since last week, because there is always the trials of the ground invasion, which later results in clashes between the Ridwan forces, the special forces of Hezbollah, and the elite of Israeli defense forces. And then a few hours later, we see press releases from Hezbollah, and we see some helicopters from the Israelis taking out the injured. These are trials of ground invasion that are always simultaneously accompanied by bombings of southern Lebanon villages. High artillery, white phosphorus is being used. So this is always in the process of trying to invade on the ground. It is never an actual invasion that ends up in any new status quo or in an end of the clashes. On another perspective, here in Beirut, it looks like after more than a week from the assassination of the late Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, and after the assassinations of top military commanders, it looks like the Hezbollah has regained the initiative. After last night, it was recorded the first of its kind, a new upgrade in the way that they have been attacking Israeli targets. Last night, several Fadi 1 Hezbollah targets hit different bases around Haifa city, and it was the first time that they raised the level of their attacks. And this says a lot about their control command in the terms of military, because the organization is big and the leadership, the political leadership, or even the the leadership that was assassinated, the military leadership, is not the only leadership over there. It seems like on the ground in the south there is retrieval, and there is like they are regaining their initiative. On another note, the Hezbollah media personalities also re-emerged. More press releases are being gathered, and also one of the main political leadership also was on TV yesterday speaking about the assassination. So all these have been reported in Beirut, and these are new. But of course, we have to mention that last night was one of the toughest, most violent attacks on the southern suburb of Beirut. It looks like many new forms of ammunition are being used, according to experts. There were fuel air explosives and cluster bombs on Beirut last night.